more than all the wonders you see. It's the most wonderful thing. One love, I love you so. Love is the beautiful one. I love you so. Love is the beautiful one. All we need is love. Real love, marvelous sight of green fields, amazingly seen. Watch the colors of the rainbow. It's a miracle you see, more than all the wonders can be. But there's more than that. One love, I love you so. Love is the beautiful one. I love you so. Love is the beautiful one. All we need is love. Real love. Greater than what you could feel, more than what you ever dreamed. This is better.